How did I get here? Welcome into the Behind the Wall podcast with Landon Tengwall. Today, we have a lot of new followers, and I realized a lot of people don't really know my story. Yes, I used to play football at Penn State. I had to medically retire. I was a highly rated recruit, all of that. Let's get into it. Let's take like 10 minutes and fill you guys in on kind of my journey and how I got to this point. So going back to the beginning, I am one of four boys, the youngest of four boys. So I always got beat up on. I was always trying to, stay up with my brothers. I am the biggest one too. My brothers are all like 6'2", 6'3", but they're kind of like skinny. I'm a big kid. I'm kind of built like my dad, right? So growing up, I played water polo from the age of 6 to about 11 or 12. I was actually, fun fact, I'm a junior Olympian water polo player. Grew up in Annapolis, Maryland. And so that was what I did until I saw that there is no money in water polo. And I enjoyed it, but I was like, nah, let me try this football stuff. So tried football for a while. I was decent, and then it got to be just about 8th grade. And I hit a growth spurt. I was like 6'5", 185 in 8th grade, fall. I'm playing tight end, and I'm playing defensive end, outside linebacker. And next thing I know, my dad's like, listen, if you want to go to college, which I know you do, you are too slow to play tight end. You are playing offensive line. So after that fall season ended, I went on a journey of working out 2 times a day. I was eating protein shakes, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches before bed. And the next thing I know, come that spring of 8th grade, I'm like 275 and like 6'5", and I actually look like a lineman going into high school. So kind of just fast forward, high school was great. Penn State offered me, like before I even played my first game. By the end of my freshman year, I had every offer I could ever want. I've told stories about Chase Young forcing Larry Johnson into offering me at Ohio State. I mean, all these different stories. And for those of you that watched, my final 2 was Penn State and Notre Dame. So, obviously 2 very good schools. I went to Penn State like 25 times for visits. I really loved the coaching. I loved what Happy Valley felt like. It was special. It was really cool. I visited all the Alabama, Auburn, Georgia. I did a Southern swing, and it was cool. I was never going to go there, though. But I will tell you, my number one piece of advice, and this is if you're a recruit watching this, build relationships. I mean, this goes for anything in life. Build those relationships. Don't burn bridges. And, no matter where you are, it doesn't matter if you feel like, hey, I am not going to, do any business here. I'm not going to commit here. There's no chance. It doesn't matter. You don't know where someone's going to end up. And it is a relationship-based world. That is how it works. It's all about who you know, not as much about what you know. So all of that goes great. High school's awesome, whatever. I'm basically a 5-star All-American. I'm in the All-American Bowl, all that cool stuff. I come in right around COVID time. I did not get a senior season of high school, so that kind of sucked, but I decided that kind of led me to early enrolling, so that was great. Came in my freshman year, and just like anybody else in spring ball, when you are a month into being in college, it is not easy. I got put on my ass multiple times in spring ball. I was playing right tackle for the first time ever, getting killed. And it was, that is that welcome to college football moment, but it was more kind of a whole spring for me. And finally got out of that spring. We got into the summer, got adjusted, and you start to, summer camp slows down for those guys that get to come in early. And that's why I think it's so impressive. Guys like Abdul Carter, when they come in the summertime and still have an impact in the fall, it's crazy. That really means you are a special talent. But I didn't really play too much my freshman year. Multiple times early on in 21, I get tapped on the helmet against like Villanova or like Bowling Green, and it's like, you're going in with 2 minutes left. And then it's like, nah, you're not going in. And it's like such a tease. But ended up playing the last like 3 or 4 games of the season in 21. We had a flu game against Rutgers where like half the team was down. And then I got to play a bunch in the bowl game against Arkansas and whatnot. So it was really great. Going into the next year, I am, slotted to start. It's all good. I actually go into a position battle with Hunter Norzad at left guard. Actually won it. So I was starting at left guard for the first like 6 games. At Michigan, I tear my labrum. And so I was out for the rest of the year in 23. That was that, or 22 going into 23. So that Rose Bowl season, I started the first 6 games. I was hurt. That sucked. It was kind of, having to go through that, battle back from that injury. It wasn't easy. Obviously, shoulder surgery is like 5-6 months. It's a long process because that thing it's tender. But I get back. I get to do spring ball. I'm feeling good. I am, for sure going to be the left guard again. Feeling great. go into camp, and really just right before camp. My birthday is July 19th, so I just turned 21. I'm on top of the world. I'm going into, at this point, I have like 10 games on tape pretty much, and I was playing pretty well. And so it was like, hey, this could be an NFL year for you. Maybe not for sure, and who knows, I probably would have returned depending what happened, but it was an opportunity to be a league year. I go into camp. It's one of like the first day of padded practice, and boom, I go into Zane Durant, and I go down. And I had obviously had concussions up to this point. I had like 1 or 2 at Penn State, had a couple in high school, and at times they were pretty bad, but it was never like anything too crazy. I'll never forget. I remember and I don't even remember his name, the student trainer, but I just started like crying in the locker room like right away. It was crazy. I'll never forget that. And go in, shower up, all that stuff. And then kind of what came after that for the next couple of weeks was just me being someone that I was not. And so I had, like I said, I'd experienced concussions in the past, and, eyes hurt, can't look at any brightness, your phone, any light that hurts. But what was different was the emotional side of everything. And that is something that's not really talked about a lot with concussions and CTE. The whole kind of joke is like forgetfulness and that stuff. Yes, that is that. But I will tell you, the real thing is not being able to control your emotions. And that was what was so scary for me. So I go about a little over a month, almost a month and a half of being in this darkness, depression. And anybody that knows me, you guys know how happy I am. I was suicidal. I did not really want to be on this earth. I'm just in my room, crying. I don't know what's going on. It was the hardest time of my life, and that is for sure. I, continue to see doctors, and then finally I'm told, hey, we think, you are going to be okay. And then obviously the decision is in the player's hands. Now, what I will say is, could I technically be playing right now? Yeah. If I were to live the rest of my life in that mindset that I was in for that month and a half, I'm confident, and I understand why guys like Junior Seau committed suicide. We're just having a real talk. You guys know I keep it real, and this is some adult stuff. I get it. But the place I was in, I wouldn't have wanted to be here anymore. That's how bad it was. So I would have never forgiven myself if I said, yeah, let's strap it up again, and I got another concussion, and I was stuck in that mental space. Because I've seen it. Like I said, there's players that have, off themselves. I've seen it from former NFL players that talking to walls, they are super sporadic with their emotions and just all over the place, alienate people all in their lives because they can't keep real relationships. You don't remember your kid's name by 50. And even put aside the concussion stuff, certain guys can't walk when they're 50. And honestly, you want me to be you guys know I keep it real up behind the wall. That is one of the best kept secrets in the NFL, is how messed up the former players are. There are a lot of them that are not in a good place. And this was a question on my test that I had in, I think it was, I forget, it was a Kines 100. And there was the first ever study that was done on concussions in the NFL. And they studied 46 brains. 45 out of the 46 brains had CTE. So basically, if you play in the NFL, you're going to have CTE. And that is something that, yes, you can say you sign up for, but players are not educated on this. I was not educated. Hey, you're probably going to have brain issues no matter what. It was kind of a joke, but that's not something that is talked about. And that's something I hope eventually to kind of shed some light on. But, I'm kind of, like I said, I'm talking to Letterman. I'm talking to people that have kind of been in my shoes. And I'm be honest, I don't think I wouldn't have made that decision if I didn't have some of the guidance I had. And really for me, the biggest thing was I loved football, but I wanted to be a great husband, a great father, a great businessman. I had so many other aspirations outside of just playing football that I said I have to make the decision for myself and my future family, and I can't be worrying about just playing ball. And like I said, that was the hardest decision I've ever made. And and you got to think, most guys, when they retire, the season's over. It's done. You kind of get to be away from it. I retired in September, right before that West Virginia game. That was the hardest time of my life because and I decided to still continue to go to classes. And thankfully, Penn State, shout out Penn State, Coach Franklin and all the guys, they paid for my tuition for me to finish. But that's all I'm around. Imagine that's all you're hearing in the fall. That's all it is. It's about the football team. And it was hard for me to be around that. I wasn't in the locker room a lot because I'm dealing with the fact that I am no longer a football player. And that is one of the hardest things for anybody in their sport, especially football players, but anybody. You're labeled from 7, 8 years old. Hey, you are a football player. That is how you see yourself. That is how other people see you. So I'm no longer a football player anymore. I'm just Landon. And you have to find that identity again. You have to find another why, another reason why you get up every day. What is your drive? Because I lost that for a while, for a long time. And it was really hard. And you want me to be honest? Yeah, a lot of people cared about me when I was a football player. And people hit me up, hey, condolences, if you need anything, so sorry. But most people didn't mean that. You want me to be honest? Most people just wanted to be able to say, yeah, I reached out to him, I talked to him. But they didn't really care. And a lot of people now, I'm getting back in the media space. So, those same people want to come back around. But if I didn't do anything, people wouldn't have cared. So you have to find that other thing in your life. And this doesn't even just equate to sports, guys. Whatever it is, your business, your job, don't just become your job. You got to have other hobbies, other things you love to do. I love to golf. I love to work out. Those are things that saved me and gave me other outlets while I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So kind of back to my story though. It's the fall. It's hard. I'm not really around the team a lot. I'm hanging out with the guys, but being in the facility itself was really difficult. Shout out to my girlfriend, Sarah. She got me out of a really, really dark place. And I don't know if I would be here without her. Her mom, Ruth Ann, they really took me in, and I don't even know what to say. It gets me choked up of what they mean to me, being there at my lowest point in life. I've never been lower than that, and they were the ones there for me. So that fall was rough. And how I got into all this, my girlfriend Sarah said to me, and I'm sitting there crying to her, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with my life. I have no purpose anymore. I'm contemplating, I'm just going to go play football again. I know all the risks, but I don't have anything else. Let me just go play football. And I realized quickly, I don't want to do that though. Like I said, I still have aspirations to be in my kids' lives and be able to be a very functioning businessman, husband, all that stuff. So Sarah says to me, what do you like to do? And I said, I like my Com 360 class, which Com 360 is broadcasting, kind of being in front of the camera, that type of thing. Shout out my man, Steve, professor of that class. And I'm like, yeah. So she's hooks me up. She's like, I got a buddy that does radio, and it started out me just doing a 5-minute segment. And next thing I know, I'm doing the whole show, and I do it for 6 months. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of just doing it as a hobby. I'm still kind of lost. I'm still going back and forth with me going back to football. I'm starting to become broke. That NIL money stopped coming in real quick. And, you start to contemplate, all right, maybe I will just compromise my morals and say, forget about it and go play ball again. I decided around May to go back and create my own content. I was like, forget radio, forget all this stuff. I'm going to create my own YouTube. I already had Instagram and Twitter, but kind of went zero dark 30 mode on those for about 7-8 months. It was around the Penn State spring game when I just started posting on Twitter. I'll never forget. If you remember this, leave this in the comments if you remember this. Someone put out a compilation of Drew Aller's bad passes from the spring game, and it was really windy and cold. And I put out a compilation of all his good passes and kind of went at this guy. And that was that was me being born as the social media guy, and how I am. You guys know I'm 100% transparent. I'll go at someone on Twitter. I really don't care because I work for myself, and that's something I will never give up. So you guys are always going to get the real raw truth. I will never be bought and paid for. If you follow me, I hate ESPN. I hate all that stuff. It's sports media, I've said, is in a bad place. And so I, really got kind of inspired to do a couple things. I started out learning about the past of Penn State football. And that led me into doing a lot of these Letterman interviews, getting guys, back involved that haven't been around in a long time, showing you guys, the fans, the alumni, other sides of our Penn State athletes, doing things like taking them golfing, going on car ride interviews, going to get some food while we interview, finding a way to make them comfortable, but you guys get to see them in a different light because we have so many cool people around here that, that a lot of times you just don't get to hear from. So that is what I'm trying to do. And so it just I just put my head down, and it started really, I was kind of doing some content, but then once we got into August 1st, I found out it was hey, You got to take 18 credits this semester to graduate. And I'm like, crap, 18, it's like 7 classes. And I'm like, I'm trying to start my own business. And I said, forget about it. And I, wasn't getting a ton of views. And I said, boom, I'm going to grind out 3 videos a week. I'm going to stay above a 3.0 cumulative grade on my GPA. And I'm going to get this done this fall. And I had a couple goals, get my YouTube over 5,000 subscribers, grow my Twitter. I did all of that. I actually ended with a 3.1. Shout out. Yeah, yes. Appreciate it, guys. School's important here at Penn State. And that just kind of led me to take that work ethic from football that I learned. Everything is applicable in other areas of your life. And that's something that Coach Trout, Coach Franklin, they would always say, not all of you, and they kept it real, not all of you are going to make it to the NFL. Most of you are not. But we want you to be ready for that real world, ready to be a husband, ready to be a father. And it did get me ready. I have a hell of a perspective right now at 22 years old where I lost everything. And I thought I lost everything. But I really didn't. It was actually the greatest moment in my life, and it completely changed my life. And now, I have a lot of aspirations. You guys have kind of seen where I'm at. So if you are new, though, welcome in. This is Landon Tengwall, kind of who I am. We are going to do a lot of cool stuff. We're going to do a lot of content with athletes, former athletes, coaches. We're going to do a lot of film breakdowns, Penn State and other teams alike, a lot of little NFL draft stuff. And then as we get into close to the season, we'll do breakdowns of like the top players that, incoming for next season, that type of stuff. We'll have a lot of fun with it. And then, of course, we will have the weekly Behind the Wall podcast. So I'm really excited for where we're going. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys the backstory of how I got here and how this all kind of came about. I definitely will say this. I had a lot of help along the way. I want to say thank you to everybody that has supported me, alumni, fans, business owners, everybody. Everybody, you have a team in life. People play different roles on the team. Some people are a lot bigger roles on your team, and some people are just tiny little people on your team. But it all adds up, and all those people have helped you. Everybody needs a little bit of help. And I, couldn't be more thankful. I don't think I would be in this position if this happened to me at Alabama or at Georgia. I don't think I would have that support. So for that reason, I'm staying in State College. I feel like this is the best place to raise a family. I want to get married, have kids soon, man. And I got aspirations to do a lot of things, starting my 501c3, getting involved in the community, starting my second children's book. I did already have one. It was kind of about me being a football player, and I don't see as much value in that anymore because I'm not, and I want to be able to spread kind of a different message to the youth and have an impact. So expect to see a lot from me. I'm really excited. We're going to be doing a lot of collaborations. We will be doing still a lot of Penn State. Don't worry, guys. I'm branching out a little bit into doing college football and Penn State, but not just only Penn State. So you're still going to get a lot of Penn State content. So, be on the lookout for all that. But I really appreciate you guys once again supporting me through this transition. It was the toughest transition of my life. It wasn't easy by any means, but this is your message to get up and go get it. Like, you're not just going to be, it's not going to be given to you. Opportunities are out there, and it's never been easier to go get it and go grind, but you just got to put your head down and do the work. And I promise you, it'll be so rewarding and fulfilling when you do get to that mountaintop. And look, I ain't even close to the mountaintop. I'm not even close, but we're going to keep grinding together day by day. I really appreciate you guys. I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe. Peace.